What if I told you that you're carrying a handful of tokens in your hands right now? Not metaphorically, I mean literally, invisible, but they're real. And each one of those tokens represents a unit of your attention. Now imagine this, you wake up tomorrow, you log into your work laptop, but you pick up your phone and scroll through Facebook. A token drops. You receive an urgent email, but instead of answering it, you read an article about your sports team's latest results. Another token drops. You mean to tick off something on your to-do list, but instead you doom scroll for hours. Another token drops. You scroll, you swipe, you watch, one by one, these tokens are dropping. You don't feel them leave your hand, you don't hear them make a sound, but they are being spent, quietly and constantly. And so the question is, where are they being spent? Where are these tokens going? Well, in front of you are hundreds of buckets. Each one of those buckets represents a future version of you. The high-flying executive, the job hopper who never reaches their desired heights, a CEO who plays golf on a Wednesday, a middle manager who never fulfills their potential, and hundreds more buckets besides these. And every time you choose where to place your attention, you're placing a token into one of those buckets. You're investing into that future version of you. You see, most people don't realize they're holding the tokens. They drift distracted, and by the time they finally stop to look and realize, they find a version of themselves staring back, one that they never meant to become. And so the question I ask you is this: which version of you are you building? Now, 2,000 years ago, the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "You become what you give your attention to." It's quiet, it's clear, it's devastatingly powerful. And we often believe that our careers are made in the big dramatic moments, the job promotions, the public applause, the tough setbacks, but that's a myth. Our careers are shaped by the smallest of moments. The moment you study instead of scroll, when you reflect instead of react, when you engage instead of escape. That's when the token drops. And the bucket with the most tokens, that version of you ends up winning. Now let's be honest, not all of us intentionally 24 hours a day are trying to build the people we want to become. We start the day with good intentions, but we end up wondering where the time was spent. We mean to achieve something, but we ended up procrastinating. It's not because we're lazy, it's not because we're flawed, but it's because the world is loud and the buckets are quiet. You don't hear them when they leave your hand, but they are leaving your hand every single moment. And if we don't choose where they are being spent, then something else chooses for us. Because Seneca, another famous Stoic, once warned, "If man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favourable." Without intention, without clarity, our attention becomes scattered. It's blown by every breeze, noise and distraction. So the crux of it is this: our attention is our most valuable asset. It's the currency that builds our identity. Because we live in an attention economy. Every business in that economy is competing for our tokens. Your phone buzzes not to inform you, but to distract you. Apps are literally built to keep our attention. Even our minds, now crafted by years of dopamine hits, pull us toward noise and away from stillness. Now, every day at work, we face these decisions, whether you realize it or not. When you spend 30 minutes learning a skill instead of refreshing your inbox for the 10th time, that's when a token drops. When you speak up in a meeting, even though your heart might be racing, it might feel uncomfortable, that's when a token drops. When you prepare for a critical pitch, instead of winging it in the moment, that's when a token drops. These tokens are dropping into buckets that belong to future versions of you. Future versions of you that stands taller with a quiet confidence. Future versions of you that doesn't get derailed by pressure. Future versions of you that doesn't follow, they lead. That future version of you is watching. And every small decision you make, you're feeding that future self. You're making an investment into that person. This isn't busy work. This is not just another day in the office. This is a series of votes and investment into who you're becoming. Think of the people we admire in your own work or in other workplaces. Creators, leaders, change makers. They don't drift into excellence, they vote for it, moment by moment, token by token. So let's revisit the question I asked earlier. Which version of you are you building? Before you pick up your phone, before you ignore that urgent email, before you delay that thing you've been putting off for months, ask yourself, am I voting for the person I want to become or the person I'm trying to outgrow? We do not become the sum of our goals. We do not become the sum of our ideas. We become the sum of our attention. And we have tokens in our hands at all times. So the next time you find yourself distracted or procrastinating, just remember that a future version of you is stood over a bucket, quietly hoping that you'll choose to invest in them. Thank you.